Ever since I first heard Radiohead about 15 years ago, I knew that my purpose in life would be to sit in a white room by myself, talking to my phone for about 2 hours. So I'm very glad that that day has finally arrived. Now, Radiohead aren't my favourite musical artist, and they aren't my favourite band, but they aren't my second favourite band either. My third favourite band? Yeah, probably. And whenever someone asks me what type of music I listen to, I just say, oh yeah, Radiohead. Because that way they know, one, I'm a bellend, and two, there's no point carrying on a conversation with me. I'm a Radiohead fan. A Radiohead are a band, or were a band, sorry, that I have a long history with. I do think they'll tour again, but I don't think that they're gonna put out any new music. And by the way, I'm filming this on the 23rd of March, and there are a couple of rumours going around. I saw an article in the LME that apparently they're gonna go on tour at the end of 2025. And I won't believe that until I'm on the front row at the O2 Arena getting yelled at by Tom York for screaming too loudly. Anyway, Radiohead. The first band that I properly got into was Muse, sometime around 2009. And around that time, there were a lot of end of the decade lists coming out. And at the top of a lot of the best album of the 2000s lists was Kid A. And all I knew of Radiohead at the time is that people said that Muse were a Radiohead ripoff. So I thought, oh, Kid A, that must be the perfect album for me. If Muse sound like a ripoff of Radiohead, and Radiohead put out the best album of the decade, then I'm gonna love it, every single song. But sadly, I was very unready for Kid A. I was about like 11 or 12 at this time. I had no idea what was going on. Obviously, I did eventually get into Radiohead the traditional way, seeing them cover Creep on Glee. Leah Michelle put me on a path that day that shaped my entire personality, so thank you, Leah. Alright, that's enough of my sob story. Now let's get into the actual video. This is ranking every song that's on Spotify, which I think is all of them. I think the only one that's missing is Pop Is Dead, which I'd put about like 85, 90. I think it's actually a decent song compared to a lot of their early stuff. And one final message before I get into the worst Radiohead song. This is a message to the hardcore Radiohead fans, like the Kid A, Amnesiac guys. I just know I'm gonna get a load of comments like, oh, actually, Fitter Happier is their best song because it uses the Dorian mode and there's a 7/8 polymeter and the drums are in 4/4 and the bass is in 3/4 and there's like an inverted seventh with a sharp third and if that's you, to you I say, shut up. This is why everyone hates Radiohead fans. Just because it's got all that cool technical stuff going on doesn't mean it's a good song. The song as a whole, the song determines if it's a good song, not if there's like a polymeter or whatever. Made about 5 of these videos. But in your comments, just don't talk about time signatures or polymeters or bass clefs. Bass chefs, yes. Bass clefs, no. Okay, here we go. The worst Radiohead song in 163rd place. Like spinning plates. The official drinking game of this video is going to be drink whenever I say the word pretentious. And we're off to a strong start here because this is a load of pretentious rubbish. I mean, he's singing in reverse, for God's sake. There's just no need for that level of self-relating on a song like this. On Nude, when he kind of sings in reverse a little bit, that's fine. Nude is a banger. It can do what it wants. But this? No. No way. I'm gonna add my face to that Sean Dyche meme and pop that up every time I use the word pretentious. I'm sure that won't get old quick. 162, Kid A. My most generous take on this song is that it sounds like bad hold music, and that's coming from a guy that loves tranquility based Hotel and Casino. If you genuinely like this song, number one, you're lying. Number two, you're Kid D-ing yourself. And in the words of Tom's idol, and here's a test for everyone out there who's saying, oh, Kid A, the song is amazing. Imagine the song Kid A, but it's not called Kid A, it's called Pablo Honey. Do you still like it? Imagine it's called Parachutes or The Second Law. Do you like it now? I didn't think so, exactly. You're in a cult of Kid A. I'm trying to break you out here. 161, Hunting Bears. You know that clip in Arthur where the rhino guy listens to some song and he's like,
when do they stop dance and play the music.
Well, that's what this sounds like. Why bother putting this on an album? I'd honestly rather they put an advert here. Just Tom reading, this album is brought to you by Squarespace. Use code KIDA for 20% off your website. Like, I'd much rather hear that. I don't hate all of Amnesiac though. I just want to make that clear. 160, Polk, Pull, Revolving Doors. But I do hate most of Amnesiac. If you genuinely like songs like this, I think you need to be removed from society because you are just feral. And this song is as pointless as Smart Shuffle on Spotify. It's literally just drums and a load of noises, a load of random noises on top of that. Why did no one suggest just cutting this from King of Limbs and going straight from Little by Little into Lotus Flower? Like, why not just do that? Why have this? If Radiohead do go on tour this year and I manage to get tickets and they play more than Lotus Flower and Codex from King of Limbs, I'm gonna fight someone. Probably a small sickly child because I think that's the only type of person that I'd win a fight with. So if you do get tickets as well and you know anyone that fits that description, please bring them along just in case they play Bloom or something. 158. Tree Fingers. Again, what's the point of this? Why is it in the middle of Kid A? If you're gonna have it on the album, just make it part of Untitled and stick it on the end. But if you're gonna have it in the middle of the album for 4 minutes, just don't put it in the middle of the album and make it 4 minutes long. Pick one. Pick none. Don't do either of those. I've only got so many minutes left in my sad little life and I don't want to spend 4 of them at a time listening to whatever this is. 157. Backdrifts. Imagine 15 step. Now take out about 85% of the energy. Make Tom's vocals about 50% worse. And congratulations, it's Backdrifts. Do you want to keep it? I wouldn't. I'd put it in a basket and leave it in the River Nile. Get it? Moses Martin, son of Chris Martin. Don't you think it's weird that Tom York's son is called Noah and Chris Martin's is called Moses? I just wanted to bring that to your attention. 156, How I Made My Millions. Nonsense, but not pretentious nonsense, just whiny nonsense. If you're ever with your normal human friends who don't like Radiohead and you're in charge of the music and you put on any Radiohead song that's not Creep, this is what it sounds like to them. So if you never want to be in charge of the music again, just put on this and it'll sort you right out and you'll never have to worry about it again. 155, Stupid Car. Stupid Radiohead for putting this out. It's just Tom singing really badly over some guitars. It's a bit like the song Get Trashed by The Killers, who I also made a video about, great video. And it makes me wish that I was some sort of cave fish with no ears and no eyes, just swimming around a cave, so I wouldn't have to listen to this. I literally had to listen to it 3 times making this video. I don't know why. No one wanted me to make this video, but I did it anyway. My life is such a struggle. 154, Morning Mr. Magpie. I'm listening to it thinking, what are all these random noises? When is the song gonna start? But then the next song starts, you're like, oh wait, all those random noises, that was the song. I mean, there are bird noises at the end, that's something, I guess, but it's not magpie noises. And I'd know because I know lots about tits and boobies. 153, Fast Track. More utter pretentious nonsense, Drink. 152, MK1. Just a load of noise with the videotape piano part. 151, MK2. Again, a load of random noise, but it sounds a little bit like Nude, and I prefer Nude to videotape, so I'm ranking this higher. 150, Last Flowers. The opening piano melody isn't a million miles away from No Surprises, and neither are the lyrics, but the overall song probably is about a million miles away from No Surprises. 149, Molasses. People love to overanalyze every little thing that Radiohead put in a song. Like, oh, what's this random little bleep about? When Tom makes this weird wailing noise, is that a comment on climate change or capitalism or what? But a lot of the times I think they've just put random stuff in and that's all it is. There's no deeper meaning. And that's very true here. If it's a joke song, well played. It's not very funny, but I respect the effort. And if it's not a joke song, then what are you doing? He's quite old now, but there's still time for Tom's comedy career to bloom. The lyrics are decent, but it's just so hard to listen to. A bloody king of limbs. Luckily, I wasn't a Radiohead fan in 2011 when this came out, so I hadn't had the long wait from In Rainbows. You know, I was still in like fully Muse and Killers superfan. I still am a bit of a Killers superfan, really. But imagine following up In Rainbows with King of Limbs. That's a big downgrade. That's a bigger downgrade than when OK Computer goes from Karma Police into Fitter Happier. This almost falls into the pretentious nonsense category, but I'm saving it from that just because it's got a robot swearing. That's a little bit funny. See, I've started to become positive now, but there's still so many songs to go. So many. 146, $1 million question. It sounds like a bad Green Day song, and if I wanted to listen to a bad Green Day song, I'd listen to any Green Day song. Whoa. Up to American Idiot, I'll defend Green Day, don't worry. But after that, the drop off from each album is just crazy. Like, that needs to be studied by someone. 145, Cut Tooth. Not terrible, but it is unnecessarily long, so pretty terrible. 144, Yes I Am. 4 minutes long, but it feels a lot longer in a bad way. It just drags. It's like it's always about to end, but then there's another section that comes and it's just, come on, we all want to go home now. It's a bit like the end of Alien, when there's always another thing. But Alien's one of the best films ever, and this is one of the worst Radiohead songs ever. And Joint 141st, Faithless the Wonder Boy, Coke Babies, and You Never Wash Up After Yourself. I've put these together because when I was listening to them over and over again, trying to think of something to say, I could think of nothing, and they just sound like nothing. If I'm ever being tortured, I pray that they put on one of these 3 songs because I'll sleep great. I'd fall asleep straight away like some sort of non-Coke baby. 140, Blowout. Pretty bland, like the rest of Pablo Honey, until the final minute where it goes a little bit wild. But that's not enough to save this song from going in the skip. I don't know if skips are called skips everywhere around the world, so I'll put a picture of a skip up. 139, I Want None of This. Take the song We Suck Young Blood by the band Radiohead. Do you know them? Then imagine a worse version of it that doesn't get big at any point. And you've got this. And you know what, Tom? I want none of this either. But here we are. 138, Melatonin. A slightly demonic sounding lullaby. If I couldn't sleep and Tom York snuck into my room and started singing this to me, I would give up on sleep for the night. No one's sleeping after hearing this. 137, I Am Citizen Insane. Glitchy instrumental, apart from Tom saying hey a few times, which is something. It's not terrible, but if you've never heard it, just listen to the first 10 seconds and that's all you need, because that's all it is for 3 minutes. 136, How Do You? How do you? Like I always say when I get an aggressive handy, I like the energy, but this is not a great experience for me. Tom's voice sounds pretty bad, but the song's quite short, so it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's over before you know. Like me getting a handy again. 135, Inside My Head. The best thing, and really the only thing that I can say about this song, is that it sounds like a bad Smith song. If you haven't heard this song, that should tell you everything you need to know about it. 134, Prove Yourself. It sounds like it was written by a load of school kids, which it probably was written while they were in school. Imagine a generic 90s rock song, a bit grungy, but it's written by a load of 15-year-olds, and that's what this is. 133, Ripcord. Copy and paste what I just said for Prove Yourself, really. I give Ripcord a few extra bonus points because the melody is quite good. It deserves to be in a better song. 132, Follow Me Around. When the very first guitar notes started playing, I thought I'd accidentally put on Loser by Beck, and I wish that I had. It has some weird vocoder doubling effect on Tom's voice, but that's the only really thing of note in this song. 131, Stop Whispering. The first 3 quarters are pretty boring and forgettable. The final quarter, slightly less boring, slightly more memorable, but it's still boring and forgettable. 131, Morning Bell Amnesiac. It's just a worse version of Morning Bell, innit? 129, in limbo. Flows nicely from optimistic and ends nicely with a little bit of aggression. But the middle for me is, say it with me, utter pretentious nonsense. 128, punch drunk, love sick, sing along. Not great, and even though it's a Benz era song, it sounds like a Pablo Honey song. But the ending line, let me read the ending line for you. I stood in front of her face when the first bullet was shot. That's intriguing. For like a couple of seconds, I'm thinking, oh, what's going on there? But then the next song comes on, and that thought is immediately wiped from my mind, and I have no desire to investigate further. 127, up on the ladder. 4 minutes and 17 seconds of the same thing over and over again. But it has Tom swearing, which is always nice. I'm always a fan of that. But that's not till the very final line, and not much happens before that. 126, where bluebirds fly. Whenever I hear that glitchy drum sound from like the Kid A era at the start of a song, I'm like, this song's not gonna be for me. And that's what I thought when I first started listening to this song. And I was right, it's not for me. They might as well just call this song wasn't good enough for Kid A, because that's exactly what it sounds like. 125, I can't. If I was feeling very generous, I'd say this reminds me of a bad version of What's the Frequency, Kenneth? But I'm not. So this is just a by the numbers 90s rock song. 124, Permanent Daylight. The only interesting thing is that it slows down a little bit at the end, like it thinks it's good luck, babe. But babe, you really, really are not. 123, Anyone Can Play Guitar. The verses are actually all right, but I think the chorus is terrible, absolutely terrible. The only saving grace of this song is that I can't hear it without thinking of the beach house, which of course gave us this clip. Which I actually think I've used that clip in every video that I've done on this channel. Even, you know, the video on the Smiths, video on the Killers, video on Phoebe Bridgers. I even did one video that was about a book. I used it there. I've got good mileage out of that clip. But for the actual song, anyone can press skip, and I do. 122, Palo Alto. Lyrically, it's basically the title track for OK Computer. He says OK a few times, but in almost every other way, it's like a Pablo Honey song, which is to say, it's not great. 121, I Am a Wicked Child. It's got a harmonica in it, which reminds me of one of my favourite albums of 2024, Flight B741 by King Gizzard, great album. I actually think this is the only Radiohead song with a harmonica in it. And I should know, because I've just spent the last 3 months listening to Radiohead non-stop. So you get a few points for originality, but that's all I'm giving you. 120, Paper Bag Writer. I was kind of hoping that this song was going to be about Fiona Apple, but instead it's just a weird, vibey song. Those vibes are not awful, and the bass is quite loud, but there's nothing of substance here. And if this song actually is about Fiona Apple, well, she deserves a much better song. She deserves like a Weird Fishes about her. 119, The Gloaming. I love Setlist FM. I always just randomly go on there and see like, oh yeah, if I was into Radiohead in 2009, what songs would they have played if I saw them in concert? And one thing I do see on Setlist FM is they love playing The Gloaming, and I cannot understand why. Even on their most recent shows, they still play it. It should not have made it past the Hail to the Thief tour. It's just a nothing song, but at least it's short, so all right. 118, Kinetic. The same melody as Packed Like Sardines, and actually it sounds like a demo version of that song. So if you want to listen to this song, just listen to Packed. 117, Vegetable. Looking at the lyrics, I was hoping that it was going to be about a sentient tomato, because they're not vegetables. I don't know why there's even a debate about whether tomato is a vegetable or not, because it's obviously a fruit, it's got seeds. Like, what's wrong with you? The verses are fine, and that's just because they're quite bland, so there's nothing really to have an opinion on. But then the rest of it just sounds like a bad Weezer song, or, you know, any Weezer song that's not on the Blue album, pretty much. They've got, every other album has like 1 or 2 bangers, and then the rest is just absolutely terrible, except the Blue album, which is all bangers. There's something weird going on there. 116, Dollars and Cents. It's a bit spooky and groovy, which I do like, and it does kind of build up to a few noisy moments. But on the whole, I can leave this song. It's like if I saw $2.02 on the floor, I'm not touching it. And that's how I feel about this song. Anyway, please stand, because the next song is the national anthem. I genuinely think this is as bad as anything on Pablo Honey. It was written when they were at school, and it shows, because it sounds like that. I think if this was a B-side, everyone would hate it, but because it's on Kid A, you know, their masterpiece, so-called masterpiece, I say. Look at the YouTube comments on any performance of the national anthem. They're all like, oh, the bass line is just unreal. Is it? I think it's very real, and very real, and really not very good.
That's good, is it? What's good about that?
When I was first putting this list together, I so badly wanted to put this as the worst Radiohead song. But like the people who say that they love Kid A, the song, or like Hunting Bears, that would be kidding myself. So I couldn't, in all honesty, put this too low. But yeah, I don't understand the love for this song. I think it's a bad song. It sounds bad as well. Plus, it's nearly 6 minutes long. Who wants 6 minutes of yeah, it belongs in the skip, and I'm not ashamed to put it there. Okay, I asked you to stand for the national anthem, but now sit down. Let's stand up. An absolutely terrible way to follow up 2 + 2 = 5 in the Hell to the Thief track listed. What were they thinking? I want to know who made that decision, just so I can understand all their life choices, so I can make the exact opposite ones. That album starts with such a bang with 2 + 2 = 5, and all the energy is just immediately drained when it's followed up by this. And the next few songs after it are pretty bad as well. Just go straight from 2 + 2 = 5 into Go to Sleep. Just cut out everything in between, please. But anyway, yeah, this song's not great. The bit at the end with the raindrops, that's not too bad. But overall, that's not enough to save it. 113, Bishop's Robes. When he sings I'm Not Going Back, it sounds like an X Factor winner song. So this is another one that I think Lea Michele would have done a good job at, because as it is, the Radiohead version is just a boring sounding B-side. 112, Sulk. The worst song on the Bends by quite a way. Probably the only bad song on the Bends, because it sounds like a hangover from Pablo Honey. Although, this would still be one of the better songs on Pablo Honey. Like I've said for a few Pablo Honey songs actually, the verses are not too bad. They have a few cool moments. But the choruses are just awful. Like, what were they thinking? But at least it's still better than the national anthem. You won't be able to change my mind on this, no matter how many hate comments you leave. Just try. 111, Down is the new up. A decent song. It is the same thing over and over again with very little variation. Except the end, it changes up a little bit at the end. And no offense to Tom, but his singing at the end, it sounds like me singing. That falsetto is literally what I sound like when I've had a few drinks and I start singing. It sounds like me. 110, Maxomatosis, blah 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 blah. I dislike this one for the same reason that I dislike the national anthem, that it's quite abrasive and hard to listen to. But with this, there are a few glimmers of quality peeking through. So if it didn't go on for as long and was a bit less repetitive, I'd probably have fonder thoughts on this. When you can be in the mood to listen to this, come on. 109, these are my twisted words. The intro sounds like a demonic version of Weird Fishes, which is, that's all right. It just goes on a bit too long and it's a bit repetitive. And I know you could say the same thing about this video, sure, go ahead. 108, how can you be sure? Take High and Dry, slow it down a bit, make the melody a bit worse, and you'd get this song. And unless Ed used to sound really feminine when he was younger, I think there's a female backing vocalist. So that's something new. You get points for that as well. It's not too bad, but it sounds like one of the bands that ripped off High and Dry. It sounds like one of their songs. It sounds like, I don't know, Travis or something. I don't know many Travis songs, but I imagine they're a lot like this. 107, Meeting in the Aisles. Instrumental, but it is groovy. I'm getting like GTA loading screen vibes. If they ever make a GTA set in Oxford, they can use this as the loading music. I mean, maybe they have. The last GTA I played was GTA 4, you know, with the cousin, it is your cousin, let's go bowling. 106, The Butcher. Sort of groovy, and the drums are quite cool, and it kind of slowly builds up a bit, but it's a bit boring. 105, Killer Cars. Quite a meat and potatoes 90s rock song. That reminds me I need to go to the shop. It's Sunday. I need to get my roast dinner stuff. But it's weirdly catchy, like a bit of an undercooked version of a Benz song, which is essentially what this is. 104, a reminder. Rather than an undercooked Benz song, this sounds like an undercooked OK Computer song. It's fine to listen to. Nothing eventful happens, but you won't have a good time. You won't have a bad time, but you'll have more of a good time than a bad time. 103, Gagging Order. A nice little acoustic song. Nothing much to see here, let's move along. 102, Lurgy. Another Pablo Honey song that's a bit generic, but you get a few Benzy sprinkles in there. Like the origins of the Benz are here. 101, The Trickster. Imagine early Muse. And by early Muse, I mean early Muse. I mean like showbiz. I mean Newton Abbott demos. It sounds exactly like this, like even down to the little synth arpeggios. If Matt Bellamy ever makes a video like this, The Trickster is going to be in his top 10, I guarantee it. 100, Harry Patch, In Memory Of. A nice send-off for Harry Patch, who died at the age of 111. The last living British soldier from the First World War. It sounds like a hymn, really. A lot of orchestra going on and lyrics about how war is bad. So, yeah. 99, Faust Up. Don't know if I'm saying that right. Faust Up, Faust Up. It's not a terrible song. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it's a good song. My issue with this is that, and this is my fault, so I'm not blaming Tom for this, but for a while I had this as my alarm because it said wakey wakey rise and shine, and now I can't listen to it without getting anxiety that I've forgot to do my homework, but I've got to go to school. So now, pro tip, this is just have your phone on vibrate. That's the official alarm policy of this channel. Vibrate only. 98, India Rubber. Tom using his lower register here, and it sounds great. And the song's pretty good too. Sounds like a fairly standard 90s rock song. And it has some weird laughs at the end, that's something different. 97, Sail to the Moon. Not too bad, but if you want to listen to a mid-tempo, spooky piano-based Radiohead song, you've got about 90 better options. 96, Talk Show Host. And this is another one that people love for some reason. I think if this wasn't in Romeo and Juliet, people wouldn't love it. It's only good because Tom swears. I think it's been established I'm partial to Tom swearing. I don't know why. This song's alright, it's decent, but people love it. I don't know why. 96, Lozenge of Love. It has some cool guitar playing, and Tom's voice does sound great in this. A little bit forgettable, definitely not essential Radiohead, but I'm not mad at it. 94, Bulletproof, I Wish I Was. Bit of a bridge between the Benz and OK Computer. The verses, I like the vibes. Chorus, a bit nothingy. So overall, I probably would skip this when it came on, but I like it, A better chorus, I wish this had. 93, Transatlantic Drawl. The first half is crazy, I love it. It sounds like them doing a cover of some obscure garage rock song, like some weird White Stripes song. I do feel like they're taking the piss a little bit, but it is still quality. But then the music cuts out, and then for the final 2 minutes, it's just a keyboard playing these really slow chords. So overall, I do still like it, but that ending is holding it back from being higher up on this list. Tom, I bet you're regretting it now. 92, 4 Minute Warning. Low key, and it doesn't really sound like Radiohead, but it's a good song. One of the least Radiohead sounding Radiohead songs. It's nice, but it's a little bit boring. So I'll introduce it to my parents, but not to my friends. 91, If You Say the Word. A demonic version of Nude. A slightly different groove to Nude, but listen to the drums. They're the same on both songs. It's quite dark and menacing, but also quite chill, with a quick blast of energy at the end. If there's some guy following you on the streets late at night, but then he catches up to you and he just gives you some Skittles, it's like, oh, I was worried for nothing. Obviously I wouldn't eat those Skittles, but you know, it's nice to be given stuff. 90, Super Collider. It sounds like a King of Limbs song with all the weird rhythm stuff going on, but it actually has like a clear structure and an actual melody. So in that way, it's nothing like King of Limbs. It's actually quite listenable compared to a lot of the King of Limbs songs. My only complaint is that there's no need for it to be 7 minutes long. I actually think this might be the longest Radiohead song. Why? If it was about 3 minutes shorter, I'd think of this song much more kindly than I do. 89, Go Slowly. The intro sounds like a minimalist version of Wolf at the Door, which is a nice surprise. And then that leads into sort of a dark and dreamy, low-key song. Tom's voice sounds good. Not much else to hold on to, but it's a decent song. 88, Black Star. Nice fade in, and that's nice in brackets, don't worry. If you told me that this was an early demo of The Bends, the song, in brackets, I would believe you, because it literally sounds like The Bends, the song. The intro riff is the same, but a bit worse. The verses are the same, but a bit worse. And the choruses are completely different. No, obviously, they're the same, but a bit worse. Now, joint 86th, Glass Eyes, and I can never remember this. It's Tinker Tailor Soldier Sailor, Rich Man Poor Man, Beggar Man Thief. Like some sort of marionette puppet show, these songs would be nothing without the strings. The strings on these songs are amazing. They're honestly out of this world. The songs by themselves are just fine, a little bit forgettable, but those strings, I'm in awe of Johnny Greenwood, the stuff he can do with the string. 85, Lewis Mistreated. A B-side from My Iron Lung, and immediately, even the B-sides from the Bends have so much more going on than the album tracks of Pablo Honey. Not loads more, but a lot more. You know what, Lewis? I could treat you right. 84, Fog. Surprisingly soft and tender for something from the Kid A and Amnesiac era, but that's a nice surprise. For the first half at least. It does get a little bit abrasive towards the end, but only like 5–10% abrasive. And the lyrics are nonsense, but the melodies of which they're being sung are very nice. So I'm in favour of this song. 83, Bangers and Mash. It's a decent rocky tune. I love the bit where it slows down after he says soul. It's almost a banger, not quite. Not a banger in the mouth, maybe a sausage in the mouth. As good as it is, the only place it could really fit on In Rainbows is where Body Snatchers is, and no way you're getting rid of Body Snatchers. You can pry Body Snatchers up my cold dead hands. 82, Punch Up at a Wedding. I'm assuming, based on the album that this is on, that it's somehow about George Bush or the Iraq War or something like that. But I want to believe that Radiohead just have a song about getting drunk and causing a scene at a wedding. So that's what I'm choosing to believe this song's about, and that's why it's in a decent place in this list. 81, Climbing Up the Walls. From a vibe point of view, I can't fault it. The vibes are off the charts. They're unbelievable, Jeff. From a song point of view, it sounds like Lucky, but this song does everything that Lucky does, but a little bit worse. Except Tom's screaming at the end. Tom brings out his scream every now and then, not that often, maybe like 1 in 20 songs. But I think this is the best example of Tom screaming. So credit where credit's due, Climbing Up the Walls. 80, Scatterbrain. Quite an understated song. If I had to guess what album this is on just based on vibes, I'd have gone for Amnesiac. It sounds like a lo-fi beats to study / relax to version of Knives Out. Tom's voice sounds great, but the actual song is a little bit too empty for me to be like a full flag-waving fan of. You know, maybe that is the vibe they're going for though. Someone with scatterbrain, not much going on up there. I wonder what that's like. 79, Worry Wart. It reminds me a lot of Kid A, the song, except that Worry Wart is an actual song that actual humans can listen to with their actual human ears. So in that way, it reminds me nothing of Kid A, the song. It's bleep bleep, bloop bloop, but it's quite calming and it's got a heart and soul to it. 78, Lucky. Probably the song that throughout all of history least suits the line, it's going to be a glorious day. And it sounds like a more depressing version of Street Spirit, which is impressive. Those two definitely share a lot of DNA, so don't let them have kids. The difference is that in Street Spirit, when Tom says immerse yourself in love, I believe that he means it. But in this, when he says it's going to be a glorious day, I'm like, why are you lying to me, man? You don't believe that. That being said, you know who is lucky? You. For existing in the same time as Radiohead, and more importantly, existing in the same time as me making this video talking about Radiohead. You're so welcome. 77, lol. The chimey guitars sound like the perfect mix of the Bends and OK Computer. Musically, I'd say it is more like the Bends. It's a bit more simple, bit more of a straight up 90s rock song. Not classic, but it's nice when it's on, and it's only 2 minutes 26. Perfect length. I wish all B-sides would take lol's example If you're watching this and you are a future Radiohead B-side, please, 2 minutes 30 maximum. Any longer and I want you to get written permission from me. 76, Thinking About You. Nice little song, quite inoffensive, except for the line about playing with himself and bleeding himself. It sounds like a very early version of High and Dry, and by that I mean like demo quality. But somehow it made its way onto Pablo Honey. So, you know, fair enough, we love the grifter. 75, The Amazing Sounds of Orgy. The intro has like these weird 50s jazzy drums. You're expecting Tom to burst out into a show tune or start singing, "You give me fever." But instead he starts singing about something. I have no idea what he's on about. But this song has a really unsettling vibe in the best way possible. This would be playing in like a heist film where the protagonists you're following are the people trying to stop the heist. But this is playing whilst the bad guys are successfully undertaking the heist and the good guys can do nothing to stop them. The good guys are helpless to stop them because they've been tied up and forced to listen to a load of amnesiac songs. 74, Maquiladora. Maquiladora. Makes me want to maquila myself. Am I right? Actually, I'm not right, I'm wrong. This is quite a decent song, and if it was on the bends, it wouldn't be out of place. Some nice guitar work and good riffage in there, so good job, guys. 73, Give Up the Ghost. Blend Tourist with Codex and water it down a little bit, and you get this. Knowing that The King of Limbs is meant to be a nature-sounding album, this is what I expected more of. Not just random rhythms and noises. It sounds like Fleet Foxes, except not Fleet Foxes, so I want Fleet Foxes. 72, Desert Island Disc. This song sounds like being at a nice cafe, but in a rough part of town. Like, it's all calm and chill now, but you just know that at any moment it could all kick off. The guitar's nice, has some like a bit of a Mediterranean feel to it. Tom's voice is nice. Not quite essential Radiohead, but we're getting closer to essential Radiohead. 71, Full Stop. Vibes here remind me of King of Limbs a little bit, but again, this one has actual melody. It's got Tom doing this weird like Bee Gee falsetto stuff at the end when it rocks out a little bit. Again, it's not essential, but it's still a good song. 70, Lift. Very nice of them to write a song about the worst character in the Stormlight Archive. That is until the 5th book came out. And now the worst character in the Stormlight Archive is every single character except Aelin. Wind and Truth, what a terrible book that was, man. Oh dear. I don't know how niche that is, but I don't care. I haven't been able to vent about this in real life yet. Brandon, what were you thinking? If you keep this up, I'm gonna give you one more book. And if it's bad, I'm gonna have to declare you an enemy of the channel, along with Morrissey, Ricky Gervais, and the book Project Hail Mary. Well, actually, I can declare Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson an enemy of the channel, actually. Doesn't bring me joy to do that, Brandon, but you've only got yourself to blame. But anyway, Lift the song. Quite nice, it's quite nice. Surprising that it's an okay computer song because it sounds very Benzy, but nothing wrong with that. 69, Separator. Decent, but you have the perfect album closer in Codex, so why not close the album with that? Just because the lyrics in this are about things being over and waking up from a dream, not good enough. Not good enough. Silly, silly boys. All the melodies that aren't on songs like Feral and Morning Mr. Magpie, they're on here. 68, Staircase. A King of Limbs reject that's sadly better than nearly every song on King of Limbs. It's dark and it's groovy. It's what you want from a Radiohead song. 67, Where I End and You Begin. Reminds me of The Killers for some reason. Sorry, for reasons unknown. That is a good thing. I can imagine Brandon Flowers belting out this chorus, and I hate to say it, doing a better job than Tom York does. This song does feel like a bit of an anticlimax. Like it's building up. But when it actually gets there, it's like, oh, is this it? The Killers, they build up and they get there. Maybe it should have started a bit more sparse. It starts quite energetic. Maybe that's where you're going wrong. If you're gonna do a slow build song, you need to do what There There does. That's a good life lesson for anyone out there who's writing a song. Just steal There There. 66, Little by Little. The first couple bars have this weird cowboy vibe, which I do quite like. And then once it gets going, it's weirdly hypnotic. It gets me in some sort of trance. This is what a snake would hear when there's like a snake charmer going along. You're just like rocking out in your basket. The lyrics are the usual level of like incomprehensible, but I love the line, I'm a tease and you're a flirt. I love that for a Tom York lyric. Obviously not a Radiohead song because Radiohead are done. but in whatever future project you do. 65, videotape. I don't know why, but there are like a million different videos on YouTube talking about how amazing this song is. Saying it, oh yeah, it's genius, the piano plays on the offbeat. I just think, no, it's a good song, but it's not that good. It's a Radiohead song, it's low-key, it's understated, it's about death, you know, shocker. Although, for a song with the lyrics, today has been the most perfect day I've ever seen, it is quite depressing. Like the song Perfect Day by Lou Reed, I can believe that that was a perfect day. This song, not so much. Out of all the days in your life, this is in the bottom quartile. Although, I guess Tom's idea of a perfect day is listening to a gloomy piano and dying, and Lou Reed's is going to the park and drinking sangria. I know who I'd rather spend the day with. 64, We Suck Youngblood. Reminds me of Space Dementia by Muse, which actually came out 2 years before this, so maybe there's some sort of, you know, Tom's getting influenced by Muse, some sort of cross-pollination. Sorry, Exogenesis Symphony Part 2 cross-pollination. A bit weird, and I do like the vibes, but I think this would be a lot funnier if they just called it We Suck. But I think that would have been like so funny. I don't want to say it would be number one if they called it We Suck, but top 20, I'll give it top 20 at least. 63, Go to Sleep. Pretty good. It has enough energy that I definitely wouldn't be able to go to sleep after listening to this. But it sounds like either a worse version of Just or a worse version of Jigsaw falling into place. So you know, take your pick. Take your pick. 62, Banana Co. Quite a simple rock song, very catchy, has a very nice guitar solo. For a 2-minute B-side, I don't think you can ask for more than this. Asking for much more than that would be very gluttonous, and you shouldn't do it. 61, Packed, like sardines in a crushed tin box. A similar groove to I Might Be Wrong, just a bit more minimalist. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for this song, I don't really know why. I've just always loved the line, I'm a reasonable man, get off my case. I've managed to incorporate that into my day-to-day vocabulary, and it goes down very well every time. And it's a good way to quickly identify if there are any Radiohead fans in the immediate vicinity. I mean, not that I speak to people in real life or ever leave the house. Moving to this room is my idea of a holiday. You know, pass the sun cream, someone. 60. Idiotech. Alright, hopefully by now you've heard enough bad takes to not be too shocked at where this is in the list. To be fair, they're going for a certain sound, sort of a post-nuclear war rave, and they nail it, to be fair. But I would never listen to a song like this, and I don't go out of my way to put this on, and any time it does come on, I do skip it. But I can respect the craft here. It's not like something like Feral or Kid A, where I'm just like, this is pretentious nonsense for pretentious nonsense sake. It's like if I watch a highlight reel of someone from the NFL, like a quarterback throwing the passes, all the touchdown passes, I'd be like, oh yeah, fair enough, you're good at what you do. But I'm never gonna watch an NFL game because that's the worst sport of humankind. It's just awful. It takes them like 4 hours to play a 60-minute game. There's like 5 seconds of action and then they just stand around for 5 minutes before they go again. And then Americans have the nerve to call our sport boring. You need to look in a mirror. 59, My Iron Lung. Sounds like they finally nailed the sound that they were going for on Pablo Honey. Plus there's a nice fourth wall break where Tom says, this is our new song, just like the latest one, but Tom is wrong. Unlike the last one, which would have been Stop Whispering, this one is not a complete waste of time. The way it like very quickly pivots between calm and absolutely manic is good. It gives me whiplash in a good way. My Iron Neck Brace gets a bit overshadowed on the bends by Just, which, you know, rightfully so, because that does everything that this song does, but a bit better. 58, Electioneering. It's quite a surprisingly dirty, bluesy garage rock song. It's a little bit out of place on OK Computer, really. This is a classic Hell to the Thief song. It's a bit ahead of its time in that regard. Listening to it in isolation, I do quite enjoy it. Listening to it in OK Computer's running order, I'm a bit like, oh, what's going on here? But about 95% of the time, I'm listening to it not in OK Computer. It's like one of the 3 Radiohead songs on my running playlist with 15 Step and Body Snatchers. So yeah, there you go. Some great information about me there. Hopefully that information is not enough to dox me with. 57, Ill Wind. Bonus track from Moonshaped Pool. I can see why it's not on Moonshaped Pool. It doesn't really fit with the energy of that album. And that's to say that this song actually does have energy. Well, not really, but compared to the rest of Moonshaped Pool, this is like that squirrel from Over the Hedge. It's quite a cool song. My life is definitely better for having heard it. 56, Bones. Don't know why I said it like that, but let's roll with it. Sounds a bit like a less manic version of Just. A bit less manic and sadly a bit less effective, but still good. Tom's voice is amazing, especially that Peter Pan bit. Like, oh yeah. This isn't this song's fault necessarily, but I'm pretty sure that I've heard enemy of the channel, Ricky Gervais's favourite Radiohead song is Bones. So that does tarnish it slightly for me, but still a good song. In terms of Bones songs, I'd say Bones by Radiohead is third, Bone by King Gizzard is second, and Bones by The Killers is number one, by a decent amount. 55, Daydreaming. Like the other Dream song, Nice Dream, it sounds like a dream. Not a particularly nice one, a calm one, but an unsettling one. I know that on their Moonshaped Pool tour, they opened with this quite a few times, which I think that's a bad shout. You've got the perfect opener in Burn the Witch. Opening with this would not get me hyped for the night. This is a classic, like you'd open one of the encores with this, maybe encore 2. So if you do tour again, keep it there. I like this song, I really like the atmosphere, but I do find it a bit boring. I don't always have the patience for a song like this. I'm a busy man, time is money. When you've got the amount of subscribers that I have, the cash just rolls in. The strings that come in at the end, I'm like, okay, fair enough. I don't think it's worth the reward of having sat through the whole song, but it is nice. And then it ends with this weird snoring noise. Like whoever was recording, like fell asleep listening to it because it was that boring. You know, it's not that boring. I wouldn't fall asleep to it. Joint 53rd, Polyethylene and Pearly. Who out there, you know, I'm asking this to you, who actually thinks that OK Computer wouldn't be better with these two songs on there? Because, you know, they're great songs. I think ditch Fitter Happier, maybe ditch Climbing Up the Walls, maybe ditch Electioneering, get these two on, and a perfect album becomes even more perfect. It's like removing True Affection from I Love You Honey Bear. That's, if you want to make a perfect album more perfect, you just got to, you know, mess around a little bit. Come to me first. If you're making an album and you're thinking, this is a 10 out of 10, let me have a listen first before you decide on the final track listing. 52, Morning Bell. The drums sound amazing. They groove along quite nicely. Very, very easy to listen to for a Kid A era song. This is basically an Ed Sheeran song compared to the rest of that album. Good song, quite simple, no frills, but it doesn't need frills. So, you know, good job, boys. 51, You. And Whose Army? Come On, Come On, Holy Roman Empire, great lyric. Starts with just Tom and a guitar, but you can immediately tell something more is coming. And this song actually came after the invention of Coldplay. Interesting. I think it sounds quite a bit like the Coldplay song Amsterdam. So maybe Tom ripped off Chris Martin a little bit this time, which is, if he did, is fair enough. I think Chris has stolen from you enough, so you can steal from him a little bit as well. Amsterdam's a great song, so if you're gonna steal a Coldplay song, that's a good one to pick. Anything off Rush of Blood to the Head, really. Thank you to Chris Martin for giving us You and Whose Army. Nice one, Chris. 50, I Will. This is a song in Radiohead's discography that I'd completely forgotten about, and it was nice to be reminded of. It's just one guitar and a load of Tom's voice singing in harmony. Sounds great. It's under 2 minutes. Perfect. It packs a lot into that runtime as well. Tom's voice manages to sound angelic and demonic at the same time. So, I will be listening to this song more often. 49, You. I think in every other video I've done, I've absolutely loved song 1 from album 1 from the artist that I've done the video about. And this is the first time I haven't absolutely loved it. I do quite like it though. It's a good song, and compared to the rest of the album, it's basically Paranoid Android. The verses are really cool, the guitars are really cool, Tom's voice is great, especially when he starts yelling and growling. It gets almost like nu metal-y at some points. And I'll give this song the biggest compliment that I could give any early era Radiohead song. It's good enough to be on the bands. 48, Man of War, their OG James Bond song. and it's top notch. I think it sounds more like a James Bond song than Spectre does, but Spectre's a better song. So, you know, life's about balance. I'm not the biggest James Bond fan out there, but I'm pretty sure a lot of the recent songs have been quite like slow, dreary ballads. And where the upbeat rock bangers like this, like You Know My Name by Chris Cornell, I know that one. You know what I'd do if I was in charge of James Bond? I would have You Know My Name by Chris Cornell as the intro song for every film, and then get, you know, your Adele, your Sam Smith, your Billie Eilish, do the boring ballad at the end. Have that on the end credits. 47. I might be wrong. Sounds like getting chased in the woods. So it sounds like what the Karma Police video looks like, basically. It's a dark, groovy song, which I've got quite a few of, but the thing that sets I Might Be Wrong apart from the rest is that last minute when it just goes to the guitar, a little bit of drums, and Tom like wailing in the background. That section is a thing of beauty, and it has my full respect. 46. Planet Telex, with the weird piano effects going on at the start and the lyrics about how everything is broken and everyone is broken. It almost sounds like an OK Computer song. And then it sort of like grooves along like a sped up version of How Soon Is Now. The verses are of the highest quality. The chorus, slightly less quality, but still decent, except the final one where Tom hits the high notes. That one, yeah, come on, you gotta give it that. Good song. Although I think the bends would have made a better opener for the bends. So let's do some shuffling. Let's move Planet Telex to OK Computer, move Electioneering to Hell to the Thief, and boom, I've just fixed Radiohead. God, I'm good. 45, Knives Out. A little bit Smithsy with the clean guitars, the upbeat music, and the lyrics about killing someone and cooking them. Yum. I'm a bit hungry actually. I need to go buy that roast. It is quite repetitive, but unlike the songs that I've complained about that, if you're gonna repeat stuff, make it good, and it is good. Everything sounds good, so you know, just keep going, just keep it going. Again, it doesn't really fit the album that it's on. I don't think. I think it's more of a Hell to the Thief song, but you know, I digress. Knives Out gets thumbs up. 44, Nice Dream. And it does sound like a nice dream. I love those bits in the background in the second verse where it goes like do 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 do. It doesn't sound like that. It sounds a lot better than that. Nothing too crazy. Gets a little grungy for about 15 seconds near the end. I'll be honest, I think it would be better without that bit. But still, good song. 43, Optimistic. The song on Kid A that's like a thrown in for the normies like me. They had to put one dad rock song on there, and I appreciate it. Lyrics about the three little piggies, because, you know, why not? Like the final 10 seconds, it lets loose, goes wild. The first 5 minutes is very restrained. It's like, you know, 5 minutes of edging and then 10 seconds of release. Oh, it's just the best feeling ever. I know what you're thinking. And yes, this channel is pro-edging. I'm not going to declare it a hero of the channel, but I have positive views. 42, Airbag. We've had Stupid Car, which was terrible. We've had Killer Cars, which was, you know, not great. And the third installment in the Radiohead car-related songs, Airbag, is a banger. So we got there eventually. Perfect way to start off OK Computer. Not a million miles away from something off the bends, but it's got that weird synth stuff going on. And the drums sound a bit like a drum machine. Lyrics about technology being dodgy, so, you know, it's OK Computer. And also, I don't know if the lyrics to this song are autobiographical, but if they are, and an airbag did in fact save Tom's life, then I'm willing to call Airbags a hero of the channel. But, I'll need, that it has an asterisk next to it. I need confirmation from either Tom himself, or if you've heard that, leave a comment and let me know that it's real. 41, A Wolf at the Door. A nice little glimpse into what could have been if Tom pursued a rap career. I really like his low register, and I wish he used it more. I can't believe this is the same guy that sang Reckoner, like crazy. He contains multitudes. The vibes are quality, the lyrics, presumably they're about George Bush or something again. I like that Tom swears again, that cheers me up. And he says flan in the face, which brings me joy for reasons unknown. I don't know why I like that, but yeah, flan in the face, flan in the face. 40, Spectre. I mean, whatever song they did use for Spectre, there's no way it was as good as this. Although this bit isn't as good as You Know My Name, like I said. Pretty similar to Pyramid Song with a few more strings thrown in. So, you know, that sounds good to me. A 39, Life in a Glass House. Too jazzy? No, I think the perfect amount of jazzy actually. Especially from the second chorus onwards, like, oh, my sweet Lord. I really want to hear you, Lord, if that's what Lord is. If Pixar made horror films, I feel like this would be on the soundtrack. This sounds like a horror version of the Monsters Inc. soundtrack. Mr. Waternoose definitely loves this. This is his #1 Radiohead song. Sully, I feel like it's a bit more basic, a bit like Paranoid Android or something. There's nothing wrong with that. Mike Wazowski, he's a man of taste. It's going to be like Dex Dark. He's only got one eye, so his other senses are heightened, so he can hear quality. Anyway, from Life in a Glass House to A House of Cards, a song about making love. And it actually sounds quite sexy, so fair play. But can you realistically imagine any of the members of Radiohead shagging? Tom, no. Johnny, no. Colin, maybe. Phil, maybe. Ed, oh God, yeah. An unbelievable amount. It's a chill song, but unlike a lot of the chill songs further down this list, there's actually quite a lot going on in the background here. And it's got Tom York saying the word lover in the same way that Prince meant it. I love that for Tom. Tom, I'll shag you if no one else will. But we have to have House of Cards playing on a loop the whole time. 37, the numbers. Forget about the numbers, because this song is all about the strings. The strings are just insane on this. That Johnny sure knows what he's doing. Johnny, I'll shag you as well. But we have to put this in the background. You know what? Colin, feel free to join. That bass line is unreal. Like a lot of the Moonshaped Pool bass lines actually. Plus there's a choir that adds to the already amazing atmosphere of the song. Oh, yeah. But you know what number this song gets? A 10 out of 10. Yay. 36, Pyramid Song. Possibly the definitive Radiohead song. If there was a Radiohead song called Radiohead, I think it would be this. It's about death. It's got amazing strings. The piano's great. Tom's voice sounds great. And even though they've got quite a few songs that sound a bit like this one somehow managed to stand apart from all of them. It's very unique. And the fact that this was a single is amazing. The fact that it reached #5 in the UK charts makes me feel very patriotic. God save the king. Although, shout out to Portugal, where this song actually made it to #1. So, anyone in Portugal, you must have been going through it in like, whatever year this came out. It was like 2002, 2001. So, obrigado. 35, Subterranean Homesick Alien. A very cool sounding song about wanting aliens to come down and abduct you. I'm glad it's not just me and Phoebe Bridgers who think about that a lot. Tom York as well. And I love how casually he says, high up above aliens hover. Like, oh yeah, look, some aliens. Yeah, anyway. What are you having for lunch later? The guitars sound amazing. That like chiming tone, it's just so good. This song's it's very smooth. It goes down very easy. And it probably breaks some sort of world record for the most times a song has said the word uptight. If not, it's got to be at least in the top 5. I know the title comes from a Bob Dylan song, and when I started writing this video, the Bob Dylan film was very popular. That shows you how long it's taken me to write this. But it makes me think, that's called A Complete Unknown, which was taken from a line from one of his most popular songs. What would the Radiohead film be called? And if I was in charge of making it, you know what I'd call it? Yesterday. And then if you need it, in brackets, I woke up sucking a lemon. 34, All I Need. Great vibes. It's like the inverse of House of Cards. It's still sexy, but not in a sexy way, in a pathetic way. A House of Cards is Ed O'Brien. All I Need is Matty Healy. Just pathetic, but in a good way. Unlike Matty Healy. And then it gets a bit scary at the end, like the whole world's about to explode. But it still has that little glockenspiel tinkling away. Like, ooh, doo, doo, doo. 33, High and Dry. Early Coldplay's entire career is based off of this song. Although to be fair, just their singles, their album tracks don't sound that much like this. But it's just a nice, easy listening 90s Britpop song. Much better than any Oasis song. What we saying the odds are of Oasis breaking up before their first shows this summer? I reckon about 50%. If you've got Oasis tickets, I hope they don't break up again, because you know, you've made it this far through the video, you've suffered, you need a reward. If you like Oasis, I hope you enjoy it, but you know, I'll be honest, I don't think it's looking good for you. 32, The Daily Mail. What a banger. What a banger. Doesn't it fit on the King of Limbs? Actually, I don't know what album it would fit on. Maybe Hail to the Thief. It's a patient song. 2 minutes of just Tom and his piano, and then it just suddenly bursts into life and goes a bit mad. The horns sound amazing. National Anthem could never. The Daily Mail, not the most respectable journalistic organisation in the world, but I'd like to thank them for inspiring this song. So, you know, good job, Murdoch. 31, True Love Waits. You know what, Tom? Yes, I will wait for you. I'll wait for you to tour the UK again. And again, I think Moonshaped Pool is their final album. So this is their final song. A nice melancholy way to end their career. And with his last words, he's telling me not to leave. Well, don't worry, Tom, I won't leave. I'll wait in haunted attics. That's where I am right now, just waiting for this tour announcement. 30, motion picture soundtrack. Lights will guide you home. By far their most depressing song, but also one of their most beautiful. After listening to a load of zeros and ones throughout Kid A, it ends on a very human note with this. And yeah, it's a stunner. Anytime I hear this, it stirs something in me. One of the few songs out there that can melt my heart of ice, along with I Know It's Over by the Smiths. And that bit in Come On Eileen where it slows down and then it speeds up again. Beautiful. Come on Eileen, do-do-ah-yeah. 29, Jigsaw Falling Into Place. Another In Rainbow song about shagging. Sort of, this is like about the build up rather than the actual deed. Going out for drinks, getting drunk, dancing with strangers. A very un-Radiohead topic, but they do it very well. Even though I cannot imagine Tom having a pleasant time doing anything mentioned in this song. The song itself sounds like a better version of Go to Sleep. Tom just going wild on that acoustic guitar. God, I wish I was that guitar. 28, How to Disappear Completely. I mean, what can you say about this song really? It's like a 10 out of 10 in every way. Every element comes together perfectly. It's quite a normal song compared to the rest of Kid A, and I think I'm Not Here, This Isn't Happening is probably the perfect Radiohead lyric. My issue with this song is that it's too real. I can feel Tom's anguish when I listen to it, and his anguish becomes my anguish. So it's not a song that I enjoy listening to a lot, but I can't deny that it's not an amazing song. It's art. It belongs in a gallery, so some 17-year-olds can throw baked beans over it. But yeah, I think this is a top 10 Radiohead song, but the fact that I don't like listening to it means that I have to put it in the top 30. It's still in the top 30, so, relax. Don't complain to me about this being low. You can complain about, I don't know, Lucky being low, not this. 27, Identikit. I don't know if I've said that right. Low key again, but it has quite a nice groove to it. The melodies are great. Without the choir, this song would be great, but with the choir, this song is just amazing, even though it's very briefly used. The lyrics feature the phrase Moonshaped Pool, which I love. I love when a song has the title of an album in its lyrics, but the title of that song isn't the title of the album. I don't know if that makes sense, but they've done it here. It's a real shame that Moonshaped Pool was their last album because they were cooking in the studio, especially Colin. There's some tasty bass served up on pretty much every song. 26, Street Spirit. Deceptively positive, actually. Sort of. It's like 4 minutes of this moody song about how death is everywhere. And then there's 10 seconds at the end about how you need to immerse your soul in love. So actually, it's not very positive at all. Ignore me. A very bleak way to end an album that has High and Dry on it. But this definitely gave them the model for the songs that they wanted to do more of in the future. It's a banger, it's spooky, it's depressing, and remember, I just want everyone out there to remember that death comes for us all. So while we're alive, we should spend our time sat alone in our rooms talking about Radiohead to ourselves. That's what I call living. 25, I Promise. God, I love this song so much. This is the highlight of OK Not OK for me. It's just such a nice song. Sounds a little bit like High and Dry, not really, but with a load of strings added. Plus it's got lyrics about being in a boat crash. And it's got Tom's 97 vocals at their peak. There's not many Radiohead songs where you can just listen to it and be like, oh yeah, you know what, that's a nice song. Well, this is one of them. This is like one of 3, and this is the best of them. Hey man. 24, The Tourist. For some reason, for reasons unknown, this song's always reminded me of having a cool glass of water when you're really dehydrated. And after getting through all of OK Computer, you're going to be dry. No one in history has ever listened to OK Computer and at the end said, I'm wet. No one. So you need a little refreshment like this so you can carry on the rest of your day. So in that way, this is the perfect way to end OK Computer. 23, here it is, Creep. If you have one massive hit, You either go down the Killers route with Mr. Brightside, where you embrace it, play it every night, or you go down the Radiohead route, where you bury it and pretend that it doesn't exist. Although Father John Misty, Real Love Baby, he kind of goes down the middle. He like plays it every 4th show. That's what I want from Radiohead. They've kind of moved into that lane a bit more now with Creep. It's a great song, so it's nothing like their early stuff. Maybe that's why they hate it. Well, just because it doesn't sound like anything on Pablo Honey, it does sound a bit more like the Bends, so I don't know why they hate it. And if you've never heard The Air That I Breathe by the Hollies, listen to it. That's the song that they ripped off, and they didn't even try to change the melody. It is kind of funny. I thought, you know, at least hide it, but no, it's Daylight Robbery, but Daylight Robbery is cool. 22, Creep, the Glee cast version. And I say this with zero irony. The Glee cast version is better. When Leah Michelle hits those high notes towards the end, I'm like, Tom who? Leah, I owe you so much, and I'm gonna say that rather than have text displayed or send you a card, because there's a rumour that you can't read. 21, Karma Police. Karma Police, you've given all you can, but it's not enough to make the top 10 of this list. I'm sorry. You were close, and deservedly so, because you are a sexy little song that's a rip-off of Sexy Sadie. A lot of rip-offs in this section, but one sexy thing that you have that Sexy Sadie doesn't have is the final minute of Karma Police, which is up there with one of the best moments of any song ever. Radiohead, or the Beatles, or the Hollies, or Glee cast version. 20, Body Snatchers. Hell yeah, Body Snatchers. Body Snatchers rocks. It's rare for a Radiohead song to make you want to like crank up the volume and just like... So this is a real diamond in the haystack. It starts off banging, and it just carries on banging throughout. And just when you think it can't get better, that bridge comes in and you're like, oh, bang, bang, bangity bang. I said a bang, bang, bangity bang. Anytime that the lights have gone out for me, I just stick this on and they come on brighter than ever and blind me in the best way possible. 19, Just a wild, wild song. The guitars are just perfection. The use of the term holy cow is amazing. I wish more songs said that. Underneath the Wildness is a bit of a standard 90s rock song, but out of all their 90s rock songs, this is the most Radiohead sounding one. I don't know why, it might be because it's got like the million different chords in there, but yeah, it's a great song. Whatever it is, I need more of it. 18, 2 + 2 = 5. What a banging way to open Hell to the Thief. It is a bit of false advertising because not many of the songs on that album sound like this. It's got a sparse intro, then it just all of a sudden all comes crashing in and it goes crazy. Plus, it sounds like Tom is saying penetration in a Jamaican accent, which I, for one, consider a good thing. 17, The Bends. I'm sure I've read somewhere that the line, I wish it was the 60s, I wish we could be happy, was a diss aimed at Oasis, which if it was, this song can probably be #1 because I hate Oasis, as I've said. The perfect album opener for the Bends, but it's a shame they put it as song 2, woohoo. And it's probably one of the more upbeat songs that Radiohead have ever made, even though it's got lyrics about how everyone Tom knows has the Bends, and also the least concerned oh no's I've ever heard. My baby's got the Bends. Oh no, oh no. I remember the first time I listened to the Bends, the album, Planet Telex, I was like, yeah, it's all right. By the time I got to the line, who are my real friends, have they got the Bends? I was like, yeah, I'm in, I'm sold on the song The Bends, the album The Bends, and the band Radiohead. 16, 15, Step, which is my step count most Sundays. I mean, it probably is at the moment, I haven't been outside yet. It sounds like someone's slowly losing their mind. It starts quite calm, just the drums and Tom singing. Then the guitars are nice when they come in, but it's all about the bass. When there's that little bass drum, it's like, and then there's a mini break, and then everything comes all back in crazier than it was before. I love 15 Step. Plus, it was in Twilight, so I'm happy that Tom gets another connection to Matt Bellamy there. They just have so much in common. 15, Present Tense. Just a bloody brilliant song. It's gentle, but it hits hard. The guitar sounds great. The choir sounds great. Tom's voice sounds great. There's a little bit of a sort of Latin rhythm going on, and that sounds great. If I was going to summarize this song in one word, it would be great. It's quite rare for a 5-minute song for me to say this, but I wish it was longer. I would kill for an 8-minute present tense. That'd make for a great present. Tense. Present, Brett, present, 14. Codex, an ethereal sounding song about just chilling in a lake by yourself. And that's exactly what the song sounds like. It sounds like just like calm water and trees and like solitude. I think this is a song that suits the line from Videotape about, "This has been the most perfect day." This song sounds like a perfect day. It should have been the finale of King of Limbs. Putting it straight after Lotus Flower in the track listing was, you know, that's a choice. But that doesn't detract from the song, this ethereal song. I've just Googled ethereal to make sure it meant what I thought it meant, and it does. So I'm just gonna keep saying it. 13, Burn the Witch. Not ethereal, but it is dark and sinister and menacing, but also very catchy and quite poppy, really. The perfect way to open a Radiohead album. Before this song came out, I only really knew like 3 or 4 Radiohead songs, like Creep, No Surprises, Karma Police. That's pretty much it. So this ignited the Radiohead fire in me, really. And for the rest of 2016, I pretty much only listened to Radiohead. So that made what was a depressing year even more depressing. I also love that before this song came out, they put notes in deliveries from their merch store saying, "We know where you live." That's a genius advertising. That's like Don Draper level stuff. And this song is hot enough that it could burn a witch. It's so good. It's a tune with a capital Chew. 12, Paranoid Android. It's Paranoid Android. What do you want me to say? What can I say that's not been already said 1,000 times and you haven't already heard 1,000 times? All I'll say is my favorite bit is the rain down bit. You know, rain down. And every time I see like business looking people on the phone or talking to each other, in my mind I just think the yuppies networking. And that actually always brings a smile to my face. So well done, Radiohead. Out of 163 songs, you've got one song that makes me smile. That's not a great ratio, I'll be honest. 11, No Surprises. I know I already said that Pyramid Song is the most Radiohead sounding Radiohead song, but this is a close second, I think. It's got lyrics about death and the mundanity of life, but it's all sung over some beautiful music with like the glockenspiel going. It's just maybe missing some bleep bloops for the complete Radiohead experience. And now we've made it to the top 10 Radiohead songs. We've finally made it. Oh my God. It's been a long journey, guys. If you think it's been long, imagine how it feels for me. Oh well, I'll do it for my love of Radiohead, it's fine. Anyway, top 10, here we go. 10, exit music for a film. Sing us a song to keep us warm, and make sure that that song is exit music for a film, because that song is fire. I love a big, over-the-top dramatic song, so obviously I love this. But even if it was just the start, like just Tom and his guitar, I would still love it. But luckily, it doesn't sound like that. The drums come crashing in like some sort of tsunami wave, destroying a load of houses. And then the bass line. The bass line. Oh my Lord, the bass line. You know what it's like? You know, you see like a kid's movie on TV and you see something, like a character you've forgotten about. Like the other day I saw Madagascar and King Julian came on. I was like, oh, that guy, I love that guy. That's like, anytime I listen to exit music, I kind of forget that the bass, how good the bass line is. And anytime it comes on, I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh yeah, I like to move it, Julian. Will I name my firstborn child the bass line from exit music for a film? Probably not, because I'm gonna change my name to that before. So, sorry kiddo, welcome to the real world. 9, Dex Dark. When people say that the national anthem has a great bass line, they must be confusing it with Dex Dark, because this is what a great bass line sounds like, okay? The choir reminds me of the Game of Thrones soundtrack, but hey, whoa, the season 4 soundtrack, don't worry. And the thing with this song is, it sounds so easy, like so effortless, like they just like showed up to the studio one day and just laid this down in one take, and that was it. But obviously, it's Radiohead, so I know that in reality it probably took them about 8 years. They had like 15 mental breakdowns each just trying to record this. But it doesn't sound like that, and that's why it's so good. 8, Fake Plastic Trees. It was... I mean, do I need to say more? Actually, I don't think I do need to say more. That should be enough to justify this being number 8. Number 7, Lotus Flower. The official position of this channel. One of my first proper exposures to Radiohead was seeing the Lotus Flower music video when it came out. So imagine me like age 11 or 12, big Muse fan, watching Tom do his crazy dancing, talk about childhood trauma. That's why I've turned out the way I have. But now I'm older, fair play to Tom. That bass line is so hypnotic, it makes me want to dance like that. 6, Weird Fishes. The first time I saw the film Airplane, I was like, oh, I've literally heard every single joke in here before. Then you kind of realise that, oh wait, no, it's just that everything that I've seen has stolen jokes from here. This is the OG. And that's how I feel about Weird Fishes for like indie songs from like 2013. They all sound like rip-offs of this, but this came out in 2007. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that this song changed the course of indie music history. In 2007, you had all the like rip-off Arctic Monkeys bands kicking about, and then this just saunters in with its and his fast drums and his lyrics about smacking bottoms and escaping, which I can only assume is about having a one-night stand, doing some spanking, but then making sure you leave before breakfast. I don't think there's any other way to interpret the line, hit the bottom and escape. And if you are spanking on a one-night stand, you're probably going to be nude. Another song on In Rainbows, where I'm forced to imagine the members of Radiohead. Hey. Anyway, Nude by Radiohead. Good song. I don't know what it's about. If I had to guess, you know there's that quote, there are 2 tragedies in life. One is not getting your heart's desire, the other is getting it. I think it's about that. Which is quite a highbrow thing for me to say on this channel. So I'll get back to the coarse innuendo soon. Musically, it's like a nice waltzy slow jam that, you know, imagine dancing with someone after you've just been told that a nuke is incoming. And you've got about 4 minutes and 15 seconds before it hits your current location. 4, There. Call this song Bob because it just builds and builds and builds. And if this song was every Radiohead song section ranked worst to best, I think the ending of this would be number 1. It's, yeah. One of my favorite songs from last year, which I heard about one day after I finished editing my Top Songs of 2024 video, my famous Top Songs of 2024 video, was Holy Holy by Geordie Greep, which is another song that's a comma sandwich on repeated word bread. So you got there, comma, there, holy, comma, holy. So maybe there's something in that. But anyway, this song, it takes its time to get there, but it does get there. And when it gets there, it's amazing. It's, oh, God. Number 3, Everything in Its Right Place. Look, and I've had some words to say about the Kid A amnesiac era of Radiohead. Not positive words. But when they get it right, they get it right. This song is just perfect vibes, like the epitome of like no meaning, just vibes. Like he might as well be singing in Estonian. Like the lyrics are just, they're like window dressing. There's nothing there. Anyone watching this who was a big Radiohead fan back in the day, I'd love to know what your opinion of this was when it first came out. Were you like, what the hell is this? Bit of a shock to the system coming from OK Computer onto this. This is their best album opener because not only is it a banger, but it sets you up perfectly for what the rest of the album is, even though the rest of the album isn't as high quality as this. And that synth riff, ooh, I don't know the word to describe it. It makes me feel like I've died and I'm in purgatory and I'm waiting to find out which singer of the Smiths I'm gonna be spending eternity with, Morrissey or Rick Astley. And I think it's pretty obvious which one's heaven, which one's hell. Now the top 2 songs, I did struggle to decide which one would be number 1. That's probably why this video has taken so long. I wrote the whole thing in like a week, but then these top 2, it's taken me about 4 months to decide what's number 1, what's number 2. But in the end, the one I've put number 1, I put it there because similar to Identikit, it has the title of the album in the lyrics, but the title of the song is not the title of the album. I keep saying that, I don't know if that makes any more sense. I keep saying it exactly the same way, so good luck. Number 2, Let Down. It sounds like a grown-up version of Fake Plastic Trees. Like if Fake Plastic Trees is like a 21-year-old grad, just started their first job, all like wide-eyed, like, whoa, I'm in an office, I'm working a real job, whoa. And then Let Down is like a 32-year-old who's like had their soul crushed for 10 years by the corporate world, is like, God, I remember when I used to be like that. All hope is gone, but you remember when you used to have hope. That's what this song's like. Tom says don't get sentimental, but I'm glad he didn't take his own advice because I think this is quite a sentimental song. It's got the crisp guitars, the sparkly synths, driving drums. On the surface, if I had to guess what album this was on, I wouldn't say OK Computer, I'd say Sam's Town, really. It sounds like a Killer song. But a Killer song like Read My Mind, which is, you know, not a million miles away from this, it kind of has like a bit of Las Vegas grit on it. So it feels like lived in. This feels like, just by listening to it, I'm making it dirty. I don't even want to like look at it. Like, oh no, I don't want to soil it. I don't want to make it dirty, you know? It's too good. It's too good for someone like me to be listening to. I should not be allowed to listen to it. This is like Waitrose. They don't let me in there. Anyway, we're finally here. The best Radiohead song, #1, Reckoner. I feel like whatever I'm gonna say here, I'm gonna be doing it a disservice. And I'm a bit scared to say anything really. It's dedicated to all human beings. And if there was some sort of sci-fi scenario going on where some aliens had invaded, they were gonna destroy all proof of human existence ever, but we could give them one thing that would live on. I think we should give them Reckoner by Radiohead. I think it's genuinely up there with like penicillin, air fryers, like our best invention ever. I can't believe some humans made this. Like a lot of classic Radiohead songs, it's like perfectly contrasting itself. Like it's soft, but it hits hard. It has moments of lightness like Robert Downey Jr. It has moments of darkness like Robert Downey Jr. And this is just the pinnacle of everything that they do. Plus it's got that little bass run. Do 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 do. That's up there with when they do it on 15 Step. Plus it says In Rainbows in the lyrics. And guess what? Again, it's dedicated to all human beings, which I'm counting as me getting a shout out in a Radiohead song. Wow, that was a long one. Thanks for watching. I love Radiohead. When I've made these videos in the past, for about 2 months, I can't listen to the artist. I've like overdosed on them. But making this one, it's kind of reignited the love of Radiohead in me. So I've been listening to them a lot, and I think I will carry on. Especially Moonshaped Pool. I've got a new appreciation for that album now. I always thought that my favourite Radiohead album was OK Computer, but making this list, I'm thinking it's probably In Rainbows actually. So I'm gonna average out the positions of each album and put it here. See what my actual album rankings are based on science. If you liked this video, I've got some more. I've done one on the Smiths, done one on the Killers, done one on Arctic Monkeys, done one on Phoebe Bridgers. I did one on Muse. It's not very good, that one. I might do a Redux version. And if you do subscribe, when a new video does eventually come out, it could be in 2 months, could be in 20 months. I'm hoping that it'll be a new channel name. The channel name is absolutely terrible. Every day I've been trying to think of a good one, but I just can't. So if you've got any suggestions like twat face, wank breath, something like that. Thanks again for watching. Let me know what you think about Radiohead, your top Radiohead songs, the best looking Radiohead member, which member's got the biggest member, all that good stuff. Bye.